Hi and welcome. I'm sitting here again with Svagito, and today we wanted to talk about the art of working with people.
25 years I've been teaching that because I'm very interested in the space the therapist is in when he works with people. Because in most trainings, you learn a method or a technique. You always learn what to do for the client. But what really heals in therapy is not the method, but your presence and your ability to be in a loving space. One of the most important things for a therapist is to have no goal, no intention. And then less intention you have, the more you can be in the here and now and in the present moment. Then of course you can use some technique, but they are not the main ingredient of a session.
Yeah, it is a kind of paradox, isn't it? Because in a way, there's always an intention in a session. That the client comes with an intention; they want to get help with a problem, and in a way, you're there as a therapist, so you're there to help them. But this helping is a bit tricky, isn't it?
Well, the usual thing is, the ordinary way is you think the help is from outside. So you go to a therapy, you think something is wrong with me and I need some fixing, just like you take a car to a mechanic. And the inner world is not like this. In the inner world, there is no fixing that is needed. You are always perfect, you are always whole. So the healing is not coming from outside, it is more inside you. It's an inner realization that I'm already the way I should be. Nothing is missing. So it's totally different in the inner world than it is in the outer world. In the outer world, there's improvement, there's fixing, there is all these kind of things. And in the inner world, it's not like this. So many people treat themselves, and also therapists treat their clients like that, as if something is wrong and it needs fixing. And for me, this is a basic misunderstanding.
So when a client comes to you, what do you offer?
Well, I offer them my own time, my own, that I'm there, I'm with you now, and I offer them uh, my experience that I have with my own growth. I share that, and also certainly some of the skills I also have and I also learned working with people. So it's not that you don't need to study and learn some skills. That is also necessary, but then you have to also be ready to forget your skills and not be so identified. So in a way, you have to do a very contradictory thing. You have to learn a lot, and then you have to be ready to forget it and not be too identified with it. So both these things are necessary. So of course, you need to learn a little bit about conditioning, about certain ways of working with people. You need to learn about projection. You need to learn the method you use. You need to learn how that works. You need some understanding of the human psyche. So these are all skills that you learn, and you learn in a training, and then you have practice them. This is good and necessary, but it is not the main ingredient in my view. The main ingredient is your own space, your own presence, and also your ability to be in a loving space with a client, because basically we all need love. Therapy gives his time and his presence and his heartfulness for this 1 hour and shares that with a client. And that is what heals, what is healing, because basically love heals. And that also means we need to have a little understanding what love actually is, because that is a big misunderstanding from our conditioning, that we all have a wrong idea about love. The first wrong idea is usually that people think love has something to do with being nice. And that is absolutely wrong. Being nice is out of fear. You are nice to somebody because you want this person to love you. So you're afraid this person will reject you. That's why we are nice. But love is not like this, because love is not coming out of fear. Love is basically fearlessness. So love is more connected to being true, to being authentic, than to being nice. So one of the first things we have to learn is to distinguish that.
Yeah, so that's probably a common mistake that people working with people make, that they try to be too nice and they want the other to be happy with the session and they want a certain outcome. Are there
Yes.
other mistakes that you see a lot of people doing or that you address in your
Well,
trainings?
these are the main mistakes. And then another thing which is also related to that is this intention to help, you know. This is almost like a helper's disease or helper syndrome. We want to help or save the other from something. This is so widely spread in the helping profession, and it never helps really. So the intention to help someone is a disturbance. And it has a psychological background because it comes from our wish to save or help our own parents when we were small. So it didn't work with our parents. Now we try it with a client, no? So we try to help and save a client, no? So this can go quite far. So some therapists say, you know, they even worry about their client, what happens to them after their session is over, you know? And this is a kind of interference in somebody's life. Love is also related to freedom. Love doesn't impose anything on anybody. I have my own sense as a therapist. I love myself. I like my work. I like what I do. And I don't need that my client approves of that. We can work around an issue and then you will discover what you have to do. But it's not that I tell you what you should do.
Yes, so advice is not
Advice everybody likes to give and nobody likes to take.
exactly.
So advice is cheap therapy. A therapy is not an advice giving situation. It is a situation where you help a client to make a personal direct experience. And out of that experience, they will know something and they have a more clarity about what they need to do and not do.
And of course, oftentimes the client wants guidance.
Yeah, because we don't like to take responsibility for ourselves, you know. That's such a common thing, you know. We want somebody to tell us what to do. We may never follow what the other says, but it gives us a good feeling that there's somebody who takes responsibility for us and for our life. And to do it ourselves, this is often an unpleasant and uncomfortable feeling because, you know, we have to do something ourselves. And then the point is, if you don't take responsibility, then we give also our freedom away. It's much more clear that you are responsible when you meditate because you do something on your own. And in a therapy, there can be easily this tendency where you give a responsibility away. So this is a danger. So because there is always somebody, you know, and when we are relating to somebody, we always look easily at the other person and we forget ourselves. So that's one reason also why I like to combine therapy always with meditation, where you always come back to yourself and to your essential aloneness.
So for people who are listening, I want to share that you can get the Zen way of counseling, a meditative approach to working with people on Amazon, right?
You can buy it on Amazon or from my website. And then also every year I give trainings in this kind of approach. Next one is in June now.
And I can recommend it very warmly. I've learned a lot about this experiencing the difference of being present inside while being with someone, and when I get lost in the other or trying to help, and it's quite a big difference. So I was very grateful to explore that in a group like that. So it's good to remind oneself and yeah, just keep practicing.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Svagito.
Thank you very much. Nice talking with you.